So right, UFC 305, Plessis versus Adensanya takes place as the main event this weekend, and I'm going to be going through the entire main card, starting with the opener, ending with the main event, giving you guys my full breakdown and predictions. The UFC always brings the most amazing and exciting fights to Australia, so if you guys are wondering who I got for the early prelim card, boom, these are who I got. And I'll quickly cover the prelim card, so let's just waste no further time and break down UFC 305. Before we start, some honorable mentions, starting with the opener, and this one's pretty much a no-brainer here. Herbert Burns is on a 3-fight skid right now, all ending via finish. Jenkins is a massive favorite for a reason, and he is my pick and gets the win via second round TKO. Another fight on the card would be ONeal versus Luana Santos. And if I'm being brutally honest here, I personally think ONeal is very overrated in her skill set. Luana Santos, on the other hand, is a prospect to look out for, very young, on a win streak, and I think she gets the win via dominant decision, 30-27. Next is Josh Culibao versus Ricardo Ramos, and again, a no-brainer one here. It is undeniable that Josh Culibao is the superior fighter out of the two, and his close decision loss to Lerone Murphy is aging like fine wine. He is my pick and a fat lock and gets the win via dominant decision, 30-27. And lastly is our prelim headliner, Junior Tafa versus Valter Walker. And guys, if I'm being brutally honest here, I really don't want to make a pick. I don't rate these guys at all, but gun to my head, if I had to make a pick with the wrestling, grappling, and size advantage, I am going to be going with Valter Walker to get the win via submission in the second round. Starting things off with the opener of the main card, Jingliang versus Carlos Prates. Very interesting and tricky fight taking place in the welterweight division. To many, this might be a giant jump up in competition for Prates and it could possibly backfire on him. But the Leech has been very inactive due to injury and hasn't fought for about 2 years now. Prates is the way younger guy riding huge momentum and is training out of the team fighting nerds. And as much as I would like to see a finish in this fight, I do think Prates gets it done via unanimous decision. We move on to the next fight on the main card. Tuivasa versus Jairzinho Rozenstruik. Very explosive heavyweight fight we got here. I don't see this going past the full 15 minutes, and if it does, I'll be very surprised. But who do I got here? Look, I know the obvious pick is Rozenstruik. He's got somewhat of a cleaner record and is on momentum. But if I'm being brutally honest here, I don't really rate a win over Shamil Ghaziyev and Chris Daukaus. Yes, I know Tuivasa is on a skid right now, but he's only lost to high caliber opponents. And as crazy as it sounds, I do think he snaps that 4-fight L skid in his own hometown of Australia. Again, very, very risky, but I am leaning towards the slight underdog value of a Tuivasa to get the win via first or second round KO. Moving on to the feature fight of the main card, Mateusz Gamrot versus Dan Hooker. Very interesting stylistic matchup we got here. The lightweights always manage to bring the most exciting fights. I cannot wait, and it's a pretty obvious one here. However, before I say who I think is going to win, I just want to let it be known that Dan Hooker is no slouch whatsoever. He comes to fight win or lose and has fought the who's who in his whole career. Yeah, I say all this, but this is the classic case of a grappler versus striker, and I just think Hooker is going to get manhandled on the ground. Gamrot is just on a different level, and that's where I just see most of the fight playing out. Mateusz Gamrot is a confident pick, and I think he gets the win via dominant decision or late round submission. Now, to the co-main event. Kai Kara-France versus Steve Erceg. Absolutely amazing co-main event. Amazing stylistic matchup. In my opinion, this is the perfect definition of MMA at the highest level. But who do I got here? Well, it's actually pretty simple if I'm being truthfully honest with you. Kai Kara-France, despite being a very technical and dangerous striker on the feet, has the holes in his game in which I think Erceg can capitalize on. Now, if I'm being truthfully honest, I do believe Steve Erceg can hang with him on the feet, but if it gets a little too dire, he'll have the ability to take him down whenever he needs to. All in all, I am going to be going with Steve Erceg to get the win via dominant decision, 30-27. Finally, to the main event. The challenger, Israel, the last style bender Adesanya, taking on the defending champion, Dricus du Plessis. Guys, I am absolutely excited for this banger main event. With all the heat that these two are going to bring, I have no doubt that this is going to be a very exciting fight. But who do I got? Well, to be honest, guys, I do think this is a very tricky one to call. I do believe styles make fights, and with these two having very interesting styles, it's going to be very interesting to see these two clash. But with Dricus's reckless and unorthodox style, I could actually see him being caught the same way Izzy caught Robert Whittaker, Apollo Costa, Derek Brunson. And Izzy is 3-2 his last 5. Whenever his back is against the wall, he always manages to bounce back. So, all that being said, I am going to be going with Israel Adesanya to get the win via 3rd round TKO and new. All in all, did pretty well on last weekend's card. Despite getting the main event and a few fights wrong, I did get the co-main event right, went 3 for 3 out of my locks, and overall, I went a total record of 7-4. So, thank you guys for watching today's video. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on my socials, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace!